The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. As we kick off this last episode in the Dresden Files RPG one-shot, Mickie, JJ, Kurt, Chris, and Joe learn what more supernatural events are about to transpire in the case file, Night Fears. Thanks to Evil Hat Productions for the game, and enjoy the podcast. Hi, and welcome to the Shed for Adventures from the Shed. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com on iTunes, Facebook, Stitcher Radio, Google+, TuneIn Radio. Hey, for those who have an Amazon Alexa, the Echo device, because it can do podcasts now, you can actually just go tell Alexa to play Adventures from the Shed.
We should do that
she'll
now.
do that for you.
Hey, Alexa, play Adventures from
I didn't
the
bring
Shed.
mine out here. I'll do that next time.
You know, Joe, my wife,
Yeah?
she doesn't even know you well, but she thinks you just have one of the most mellifluous voices to listen to.
And hot damn, she's right.
She finds it so soothing, so she could, if we had one, just say, Alexis.
Alexa,
Excuse me.
Good gosh, Kurt.
Play me that smooth, silky One Joe Young.
Playing very wide.
And little does she know that she's going to have to endure lots of penis humor and
Yeah, that's a good point.
belching.
I could probably edit it to be just me. But aside from me, we have other people at the table playing this Dresden Files role-playing game. We are right near the end of a one-shot, probably the third and final episode of this. We are playing the published adventure of Night Fears. By the way, I hadn't said this yet, but what they call their adventures are case files, in which pays some tribute to the Dresden universe, where there are a lot of case files that Harry keeps on.
He's a private eye.
Yeah, he is a private
private
wizard.
investigator. And a wizard.
And he even has wizard right on his door.
Mm-hmm.
But we are going to go around the table and say hi, starting with the person who just said that.
Hi, everyone. This is Mickie. For this case file, I played Jamie Collins, who is a bit of a bookworm, also psychic. And we've demonstrated some of her abilities in the last episode.
JJ here. I'm playing Mike and I am the troubled medium, and I am doing my darndest to communicate with these spirits of the afterlife.
And with the what you've been given so far, you've done exactly what you're supposed to. Just so you know, it works very well so far in this case file.
Hey, this is Kurt. I am playing Chris Stein, the Steininator, Steiny Bottoms.
Tiny bottoms.
I'm the
kinda
trickster
cool.
changeling, the puckish kid with a fey dad.
This is Chris. I'm playing Andy Drabick, the jock in the making.
He's a Boy Scout, too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a total Boy Scout. Yeah, he's Captain America.
And I am Joe. I am the game master for this game that we are playing. Again, Dresden Files role-playing game. The first time our group together has played anything based off of Fate. This is based off of the Fate system. And I think we're doing pretty good so far, although most of the challenges have been pretty straightforward. And I think it'll probably stay that way throughout this adventure. Let's go ahead and, Kurt, get us kicked off with a recap of what we did in our session, or episode 2 of this case file.
Sure. So we essentially played Act 2 during the last hour. After exploring the kitchen, the party essentially settled down for sleep or dozed off into sleep. And during the night, all kind of weird things happened to the characters. Based off of rolls that we did, we saw who got what. But, for example, Stein woke up at one point and was freezing cold and could see his breath and was shivering uncontrollably. And Jamie, what happened to your character? Or Mickie, what happened to Jamie during the night?
Jamie, during the night, at one point woke up and saw blood dripping down the walls and on the ceiling and everywhere. And
I
after
thought that was
some...
Mike.
No?
I
that
did.
was
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah,
You spoke to the ghost.
yeah, but
He
he saw
did
the
that,
blood.
too.
But I also was the one that saw blood.
Well, there was blood.
You looked
No.
out. You looked out the door and should have seen the living room, but you saw the kitchen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
now you're
that's
afraid
true.
of walking through a door.
Now I'm afraid of
alone.
walking through the window.
Yeah.
See, look at that. It was so freaky, I didn't even
was.
remember what happened.
Right.
Someone
And,
heard a baby crying in the cellar.
That was
That
her.
That was me.
too.
That was
There
her.
you go.
Yep. And Chris, what did Andy?
I woke to a woman standing over me, and then I saw a guy in the kitchen, and I heard some footsteps upstairs, and then some rattling of that monster can, and
And then
wherever it went. I tossed it
The
in
hallway
hole.
to the kitchen
Oh,
kept
it just
getting
kept
longer,
and
but it was all BS.
And yet,
Yeah,
none of
it's
it
all,
freaked
it's all
you out.
crap. No,
None
it's
of
all
it freaked
crap.
you out.
It's just
No.
crap, man.
And JJ, what
It's
about
zebra
Mike?
cakes, man.
Oh, I had some people try to grab me from the walls.
Yeah, that happened.
And what else happened to me? Oh, I'm the one that saw the blood.
Right. So essentially, lots of weird stuff happened. It freaked some of us out, and we expended resources either in terms of our mental stress levels or using fate points or taking consequences. The exception being Andy, who was not rattled by any of it.
Yeah, Andy escaped. I mean, completely. Used a couple of fate points, but
I reasoned myself. I rationalized.
Didn't have
everything.
to take any consequences and didn't suffer any mental stress.
Right. And so I think that was where we.
Yep. So we ended that last session with Andy walking back from the kitchen towards. As far as I remember, everyone else was still in the study.
Yep.
So he's walking from the kitchen towards the study, and let me get here. So
You still doing jumping jacks? Calisthenics.
Andy, you feel something behind you, and when you turn around, I'm going to use the picture here. When you turn around, you see this like apparition behind you. It's like it's a ghost, right?
Yeah.
And Andy doesn't believe in them, but I can tell Chris this.
Yeah, totally.
He's got this horribly angry visage, and he's dressed in clothes from the 30s, and there's like wisps of darkness around him, and he like materializes as you turn around, and his face distorts into this horrid image, and you are going to be mentally attacked.
I'm taking a swing at it with the pipe wrench. That's what I'm doing.
Well, after he tries to freak you out, let's see how that goes. Oh my gosh, this probably isn't going to be good for you.
Come on.
So here I've got to do a little bit of math myself. So he has a couple of things, and I'll mention these because they are powers that as a player you may know when you're more familiar with the system. But because he is a ghost, he has a spirit form, and he also has a power that's trying to cause fear in you. It's called incite emotion. So this is the reason I'm telling you this is because this combination of stuff is why I'm going to tell you that his roll is a 7.
Ooh, rough one.
Okay. So he has a
That's
bunch of
epic.
stuff going on here. He is, yeah. So if he wins by that much, it's an epic awesomeness.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
But you are going to reduce it by a certain amount. Let's see what that is.
Joe, do we all have the same ladder?
Yes.
Yeah.
The ladder is the game mechanic for how good things are.
Yeah.
Or how bad, I guess.
Discipline action.
Levels of stuff.
This is
Uh-oh.
That's a 2 for me then.
So then that is 5.
fair versus epic.
So at this
Results
point, that
in
is 5
superb.
points that are going to go on there.
Yeah,
now,
that's a rough
unless you find a way out of it by taking some consequence,
Yeah, I'm going to have to.
then it's going to take you out of this current scene.
All right.
Or could he spend fate points?
I don't
can't.
think he can spend enough to get it down low enough.
He could
Five.
do a non-believer or do something and then do a re-roll. Or
I suppose you could
Yeah.
try to re-roll and see if you can get
Yeah.
a whole lot of pluses instead.
That's true. Yeah.
So
but you gotta. How does it?
It would be non-believer. I'm thinking it's like some dude dressed up in something, trying to, or it's one of Steiny's friends trying to pull a fast one to get us to run out of here. So I'm trying to rationalize things how
Okay.
I normally would, and
Okay,
I'm
that
just
makes
take,
sense.
I might just take a swing at the guy. I think it's somebody from school, one of your buddies.
So give me a fate point.
Okay.
And
So-
you go ahead and
I get
re-roll.
plus-
So an aspect.
You can have a +2 or a re-roll.
That's gonna put me at a 5. I'll do +2.
No, that's I
So I don't get that. So I
Right.
need to do a reroll. Really, is what
Yeah.
I need to do.
Well, or you could do a +2 and a moderate consequence.
Yeah, I mean you can take consequences as well.
Because your reroll,
Just
you're
reroll.
still going to have a hard time beating a 7.
That's true.
I would have to get all pluses on there.
And you
Yeah.
could.
be even.
But the reason I
that's
have a 7,
very
by the
low.
way, is
Yeah.
I got 3 pluses
Yeah.
and a blank. So
Yeah, I guess.
if 4 pluses would negate it, then you have an opportunity to get that.
Yeah, well, I'd be even. Or I could just take.
You should take
I'll-
the
And
plus
you can
2 and the
still
moderate
use.
consequence.
yeah, I think it's.
You can use infinite fate points. You
oh,
can-
really? I could do another fate point for
Yes.
something else?
So
Well,
if
you can
if
only use what you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I think I'll just do consequence.
Okay. So you don't want to re-roll?
No, he
Yeah,
needs
'cause-
he needs a +2 plus a moderate consequence, I think. Because
Yeah.
that gets him 6 points.
Well, he has a
That
plus
could
2
work.
already.
Yeah, unless I do a reroll, then I don't have the +2.
Right. Well, it's only a +2 because I have this. If I
Right.
give it back to you, then you don't have the +2.
Right.
So You're going to use the +2 to bring it down to a 3? Because it was 5. We had to shift to 5.
Yeah.
So if you use a +2, it brings it down to 3, and then you could
Do a
take
mild
a mild consequence and just take 1 point, the first box on your mental stress.
Yeah, that'll work.
All right, so what is Andy doing that gets him to that point? You kind of described how he was acting, but something's going to shake him, and I'm going to offer an aspect that goes along with this. But I want to hear how, because something gets to him. What is it that gets to him?
I mean, just, because it's, I mean, seeing somebody there is not that crazy, but the weird darkness around it's kind of like, all right, what's going on?
Maybe you like swung at it.
And
Yeah, I would definitely take a swing at it
And it,
because
like, went
just the that jerk.
And so you mentioned you had the pipe wrench.
yes, I'll
And
take that action of just
when you swing at it, as clear and as solid as everything seemed, when you swing at it, it dissipated at the same time you started to swing your arm. And that, I'm going to give you the aspect of maybe I do believe in ghosts.
I was going to say almost believer.
Yeah. That's why I put maybe on there. So maybe I do believe.
So Joe, he
It
has
would
to
go
take a
down
mild
here.
consequence,
and
right?
he's
down
so
here.
that's a -2.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
go in your mild consequence.
So you check off the used.
Now, if he did not want to take the mental stress, he could have used a moderate consequence.
It could
for
have
-4.
negated it altogether, yes. But I'm seeing this as he's just a little bit shaken. He got 1 mark on the mental stress track. And how many mental stress do you have? 2? So now, if you get a 3 or higher, then that's bad.
Yeah.
If you get a 1, it automatically goes into the 2. And if you get a 2, it goes into the 2.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So that shook him. Did he make any noises or anything that anyone might have heard?
Oh yeah. What the
So-
fuck, man?
So out in the living room, you hear Andy clearly disturbed by something.
Yeah, so you got the flashlight in one hand and the pipe wrench in the other.
And just as the thing is dissipating, and everyone else can hear it as well, you hear like kind of a whispery scream, if you will, just kind of near you, and everyone else hears it like throughout the house and where you are, and it's just, leave, you're not welcome here.
All right, Steiny, what do you got going on, man?
Jamie, did you ever read that diary?
There wasn't really
She looked through it, yeah.
much to read. All
It-
there
it was
just
scribbles.
scribbles.
Oh, okay.
Somebody was
Scribbles and
using
doodles.
it. Yeah, someone was using it to keep track of something, and they weren't in a steady mind at the time they did it.
So what are we doing? We're looking around.
Oh, you guys have made it out to the living room now, and you're out there with Andy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the living room,
All right, Stein, what do you got going on here, man? No more bullshitting.
I'm so cold.
Uh-huh.
Cold. I did a lot of jumping jacks. Lost a little weight, but I'm cold.
yeah.
One of the things, I'm just as a sidebar, I'm looking at, because of my Fey ancestry, I can upgrade my powers by spending a fate point to kind of a higher level, but I don't think that they're going to help with this particular adventure. So I don't think I'm going to bother doing that. But it would be interesting in more of a campaign to essentially transfer fate points to have these heightened powers, and there's 2 levels.
The thing is, though, once you take that, you
can't
never go back.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand. And it's like a character evolution, but they're more going to be like lore and investigation type things, and getting in touch with other people who have powers, and I don't think it's going to be worth it for this one. So.
I would agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
now you're all in the living room. It's like 2, 3 in the morning.
So I mean, what did you see, Andy?
I saw some freak wearing some weird clothes. I don't know.
And
I don't know, man. I don't see
was
it.
it your mom?
It's still very dark.
It's your mom.
It's still very dark. No
You know,
light
I got a
coming
pipe wrench in my hand.
No light coming in from the outside. Who's carrying what for lights?
I got a
so that you can
flashlight.
see?
I got a
We
flashlight as
would
well.
each have flashlights,
Okay.
right?
As you all congregate into the living room, all of the flashlights perceptibly dim slightly, and the darkness in every corner of the room seems to get deeper and more foreboding.
What the hell, man?
So it's like everybody's flashlights lost a half a volt or something, and they just collectively got dim at the same time.
Dude, this is kind of weird.
I'm going to...
Stein, are
Maggie.
you messing with our stuff?
Maggie, Jerome, we can help you.
Who are you talking
Who are you
to?
talking to?
Maybe we should burn that book, man.
So what I'm going
should.
to do with this one
Stab it with this
Mr.
weird
Bold.
knife.
Like in Harry Potter?
You
Give it a try.
So, Mike, you
Yes.
roll your what was it? Discipline.
Discipline. I'm getting attacked again.
Yep.
Okay.
So, Maggie, you feel like something is pulling you towards the living room wall where the monster can was dropped down earlier. You feel something pulling you towards there, and you're pretty positive you should resist this. And let's see if you can.
I have a 4.
And I should have looked at this first one. This is 4. I have 6.
Crap.
Yes, because this is a power she is using as well. So I have
Called
6 with that.
tractor beam.
It is. now to be clear, as far as the rules go, just because we do rules exposés with new systems, she's using poltergeist, and the only way she uses this is to pull people towards her. So you are being pulled towards, and that is 2 mental stress points.
The hell are you doing?
How do you want to handle that? Now everyone else can see him being pulled, and it's
Is he
kinda
walking kind of
Like,
like
my feet are solid, and
Yeah.
I'm being dragged toward the
Can
wall.
we assist him
Yes.
somehow?
Yeah, like
Oh,
we
you
hold
can
him back.
certainly try. But in the meantime, we've got to see how he's handling the 2 points first.
I'm going to.
Yeah. Do
I guess take a mild consequence.
okay. So how, other than what you said, you're just keeping your feet still. How
Yeah.
are you handling this situation?
I'm going to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think here. I'm trying to think of how I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, how do you stop a power that's pulling you toward? Like, how do you get to let go?
Yeah.
You don't.
Well, in this case, you are not going to be pulled all the way because you're negating the the damage. But, and I say damage, you're negating
So,
the
like,
stress.
I would. Logically, I would drop. Like, I would go wet noodle,
Okay.
limp noodle, and try to, grab something on the floor.
And then
I have a
dirty mattress?
I have a screwdriver. I'm going to jam it into
There
the
you
floor
go.
and hold
go.
on to
okay.
it.
All right.
Or I have a claw hammer. I have a
Like-
hammer.
Okay.
And jam that into the floor and
Well, like
hold
a
on to it.
consequence could be that you're physically exhausted from the effort of
Well,
fighting the.
I was coming
being.
up with something different, but what do you think? What do you think of that?
I guess, yeah.
No, just-
So what does that? So worn out. We'll call it worn out,
Okay.
and that way I can compel that. if
All
I
right,
need
this
to.
is ridiculous.
It
This house
is.
is insane. I'm getting out of here.
so
No.
he's out of the beam or out of the poltergeist.
Whatever it was pulling him has stopped once he jammed that screwdriver into the floorboard.
Get out that cup and knife. There's something's going on here, and then get out that cup and knife.
All right. I don't have the cup though.
Yeah, you do. I told you to keep the cup and the
keep
knife
them
together.
Okay.
Who's got the book? Jamie?
She does. Say we
I
burn
didn't-
everything in the coal furnace.
I left it in the attic.
Get some amenities up this thing.
The only
Oh,
thing
yeah.
I grabbed was the teddy bear.
I'm going to run up to the attic and grab the book
By yourself?
by myself.
No, you
Because
have the book.
I'm not a kid
I
anymore.
didn't grab it. All I grabbed
Then I
You
would have
looked at
taken the
it.
book. I would
Yeah.
have taken the book. 'Cause
Then
I
what's
wasn't going
still
to
up in the attic would be the wedding dress.
The wedding
other
dress.
thing of note.
So what do you want to do? Burn it? Burn the book?
let's put it in the sink. Let's go to the kitchen, put it in the iron sink, and burn it.
All right.
Okay. So you're going to head towards the kitchen.
Yeah.
Everybody's going.
Where the giant stain is on the floor.
And I definitely have
Yeah.
a lighter because
I have a lighter
cherry
too.
bombs.
Okay.
Why can't we burn it in the living room? Is
Well,
there
we
a
got the
fireplace?
mattress. We got the mattress.
Burn this
Is
whole
there a
house.
fire? Let's burn this whole bitch down.
So where are you going?
Kitchen?
Are you going to go to the
Kitchen
kitchen,
sink.
the
Okay,
cast
kitchen.
iron kitchen sink?
Cast
Okay.
iron kitchen sink where the
Um,
giant stain is.
On your way to
Wonderful.
on your way to the kitchen, you'll be passing through the dining room. As you reach the kitchen door, that apparition forms again. Everyone can see it right at the kitchen door, and it kind of stares directly at everybody. And the scream comes out of its mouth, but it sounds like it's from behind you rather than in front of you. And it is, "Get out! You're not welcome here." And everybody gets mentally attacked. And hey, this time I only have a 4.
Oh.
I have a 4.
Okay.
It's discipline, correct?
Yeah.
Discipline, yep. Okay.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. So what you end up with?
A 1.
Okay.
Unless, hold on.
So I think
have a
Kurt
4.
said Stein got a 1.
I have a 4.
Okay. So it does not affect Andy and Mike. However, the other two, you have 3 points of mental stress coming at you.
What was your roll?
4. You said you had 1.
I did, but I could use a fate point or something.
Oh, yeah, you could. Which would reduce it by 2. And if the first circle is still clear on your mental track, that's an easy way to do it. It'll just put it. You use a fate point to get a +2. You'll invoke an aspect. You have to explain to me why
Yes.
this doesn't mess with you. Or why it messes with you less. That's a better way to
Then
put
I
it.
check one.
The first box. The first circle. Because 1 point is left, it goes in box number 1. I
Gotcha.
keep saying box. Circle number 1.
All right.
Or I could re-roll. You had a 4?
Yeah, you could re-roll.
I would need a +2.
My number is a 4.
It's doable.
Probably not a good.
You got to
Doable,
pick. But what you think about that, Mickie? What'd you end up thinking here?
So I am going to invoke one of my aspects, which is academic, right? So
Okay.
starting to discover these powers, my parents put me in therapy, and I have this just clear belief that stress in the sciences, this thing just appeared in front of us. So obviously it's not really there. It's just a trick of the light or something. It can't really hurt me. I keep telling myself, can't hurt you, can't hurt you.
I don't believe in ghosts. I
Don't believe in ghosts.
Okay, I'll buy that. And I'll take your fate point, and that will Are you reducing it or re-rolling it?
I'll re-roll.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see what you end up with. In the
It's gonna
meantime,
be worse.
Stein is thinking...
I think it's possible.
I'm going to. Oh, 4 negatives.
oh, my.
She just faints.
These nuts.
I just fainted right there.
Okay, we'll think about that for a moment.
All right,
and
so I'll spend my fate point
yeah,
and then take
Yeah.
the first bubble on the mental.
okay.
And
so you reduced it by 2.
Right, and the aspect that I use with my fate point is not a kid anymore, but unlike Andy who says, I'm not a kid anymore, I don't believe in ghosts, I'm not a kid anymore in that I may still believe in what's happening, but I know that I have to be disciplined and keep control of myself. And
You can't just faint.
I'm a little bit more stoic than I was a year or two
Okay.
ago.
So what does that end up being? So I had a 4. You had 4 negatives, which brings you to...
-2.
That's a 6. Okay. So
that could be a severe consequence.
it very well could be. You could
Fetal
negate that
position
with a
in the
severe
corner.
consequence.
Fetal
do you
position
think?
in the corner.
That means like you're.
Drooling.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at our
You're waiting for a deep
reference sheet, stress and consequences lists severe as something like broken leg, bad second-degree burn, crippling shame, trauma-induced phobia,
Yeah.
which very well could fit here. So do you think you want to take a severe consequence?
I'll take a moderate consequence and 2 mental stress. Because it's
Okay.
6, right?
It is 6. 6 is the number you're
Shouldn't have
shooting at.
re-rolled.
So how many?
That's
so
true.
you have 3 mental stress boxes. So you're going to use
No. You only put it in the second
the
one.
number
love.
2. So you got a 2. So you just put an X in the second circle. And then for the moderate consequence, so make sure you mark that as used. And we're going to go with all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to escalate your first aspect, and we're going to do this aspect is they'll have to drag me. In order for you to get from one room to the next, somebody's going to have to drag you along.
Oh, man.
You're
was her
too
first-
afraid to pass through.
The first one was I was
Never-
not the first through the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had to follow someone else through a door because she was afraid of
Yeah. And it happened
that
right.
it was going to lead
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Okay.
So now this thing appeared in the door,
Yeah.
and so now she's not going through a door without somebody dragging her.
Wonderful.
Okay. However,
I'll take another swing at it because why not?
okay,
'Cause
now
it's my
here
thing.
is something that is actually going to come into play this time. You're taking a swing at him with the monkey wrench,
Oh,
pipe
yeah.
wrench.
Pipe wrench, yeah.
Yeah. So give me a second here. Blah, 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 blah. So let's roll a physical attack.
So
And I will
might.
roll his
Might.
defense.
Yep. I can use might.
Uh,
Technically, I could use might, I guess.
Okay. And I have... What the heck is it? What do I use for physical defense? JJ, do you know?
Endurance, I think. No.
Fortitude.
Is toughness.
No.
I can't remember. We haven't had one yet, so now
Yeah.
we've got to take a look.
Endurance determines your bubbles. What would determine your...
Do you want to take that?
Yeah.
It would be easier for me if I could use my hand, but, well, here we are. All right, so Andy, what does Andy end up with as a roll?
Or can I use athletics
Actually,
for other,
this is
other
probably-
physical actions?
That's probably a good point of what should we use for the attack.
Weapons, melee
Yeah.
defense.
Or can I use athletics because I'm swinging something?
You're
like a bat?
swinging.
Oh, you know, that's
Yeah.
a good point, Kurt.
It's
we
weapons.
do have
It's on this sheet.
skills and stuff.
Melee
Um,
combat, melee defense.
Yep, weapons. You roll weapons for defense.
Well, melee combat. So,
Right, but you're getting attacked with a wrench.
but that's under weapons, and we're not using. He's using weapons, but I'm not.
But it also says
Yeah.
melee defense.
Yeah,
The very next thing.
it does. Okay. Okay. So then, go ahead. I will roll.
Being proficient
you
in melee
roll.
means you can also defend in melee, I guess.
Okay. Let's see what we got. I just rolled what Mickie rolled.
I wonder if I should write down weapons that are average, though.
Do it.
Or, yeah.
All right.
Should have brought my baseball bat with barbed wire on. Yeah.
Nice.
I just got the four.
I mean, it's
names
either,
like
it's either
Mickie
weapons
did.
or discipline.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Well,
discipline.
discipline is for mental.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So you just have to decide what the attack is.
So I got 2.
All right. So you got 2.
Or endurance, physical fortitude.
Unless I could use athletics.
Yeah. Well, I don't know yet. If we find otherwise, we will do that. In the meantime, though, when the pipe wrench hits the edge of the form, there is a scream of pain, and it dissipates. The spirit dissipates.
You can call me Dean Winchester.
Which is something that I don't know if Andy's ready to handle that.
Yeah.
You actually just hit a ghost that vanished, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe there are ghosts
Or maybe it's just some dude with, I don't know.
that can vanish.
Yeah.
when you hit him with
I
a
can't
wrench.
really explain this.
So far, it's gotten a little odd.
So did we burn the book yet, or are we working?
You were headed towards the kitchen. That appeared. Jerome Cranston, if you guys hadn't figured that out,
Yeah.
appeared in the doorway. All right. So now you get into the kitchen.
I'm not in the kitchen. I'm still in the
Stein's
dining
like flicking his lighter.
Oh, that's
nervously.
a good point.
I'll drag her
Jamie
in
is in the dining room.
Come on, you're safer with us than without us.
room. No, I'm not going anywhere.
Fireman's carrier into the room.
Bring her in. That's appropriate. He's going to start a fire, so why not?
Yeah.
In the kitchen, it feels like and looks like the darkness is even darker, almost impenetrable. And when you go to flick the lighter, it doesn't do more than spark. And the temperature in the room just feels like it's
Gotta
dropping.
go to the basement furnace.
Yeah, that's a good place to go.
Yeah.
What the hell? You guys are nuts. We need to get out of this house.
As you are at the sink trying to light that, you feel something pulling you towards the hole in the wall next to the sink.
Hey, do we have the
Fuck
teddy
that.
bear?
I do.
Let's find out. Stein, roll your discipline defense. This is a mental attack on you.
So whatever you got there.
2.
I have a 3.
Probably do
And that's because I got 2 negatives. So you've got 1 point of mental stress coming at you. How do you want to handle that? How
So
many fate points do you have
I have
left?
2 fate points, and my
Yeah.
only hole left is the 2.
Okay.
Yep.
Which this would go to the 2.
But then
But
I'd
you
be-
start at the 1
No,
that counts
you're
up to
still
2.
fine. It's when you go to 3 and you can't put it there
Okay.
that you're done.
Essentially, your next
Right.
mental defense failure.
I think
sends you-
I'll use one at this point with
Okay.
my I'm not a kid anymore.
So how do you explain this one?
So I'm getting pulled, right?
You're pretty sure it's probably whatever was dragging Mike across the floor.
Well,
a few
and that's
minutes
exactly
ago.
it. So I know I've seen this
Yeah.
before. I know it can be beaten, so it's not as scary
Oh,
as it
all
might be
right.
the first time.
I like that
So-
approach. Okay.
And so that'll
take
give me
the fate
plus 2, which would get me over the hump.
It does. You are now over the hump, as it were.
So you have the teddy bear. The teddy bear's not acting. I wonder if that can be some kind of shield or something. Like that's the only positive thing that we've had in the house, right?
Yeah.
Can we use that for anything?
Well, I mean, she had a positive vision from it. That doesn't mean it's a positive thing. I mean, anything in the house could be positive or negative. I just want to make sure you understand it that way.
This pipe wrench is working out for me.
Right. I mean, and it's a positive thing for the character. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Now, you can't get the lighter to light. Right?
I will
It
jam
sparks, but
my.
doesn't light.
I will jam my screwdriver into my battery pack of the charger slash
Oh,
flashlight
my.
I have, and cause a spark, and
Okay.
use that spark to.
Okay.
You go to MacGyver.
Break up
shit
in one
out
of those M80s and dump the powder onto the
The
book.
lighter is sparking, but flames aren't catching.
No, well, to get some of the
So
powder
there
out
is
from
a spark
the
already.
fireworks.
What do you want to?
What I mean is, I'm
Yeah.
breaking my battery.
Yeah.
Like, it's you don't do that to batteries. To lithium-ion batteries, they blow up.
Well, I mean, they can.
Well, now we're all dead.
But now here's where I would say this is going to involve a roll then.
Okay.
That sounds almost like lore
Okay.
to me, unless you see another skill that might apply to it.
No, you're right.
Okay.
So knowing this,
Lord to know that
Yeah.
he knows that.
or maybe I smash it with a hammer or something.
Actually, lore here sounds more mystical
Resources, maybe?
kind of
Maybe
stuff.
resources?
That's a good point. Yeah, resources make sense because it has equipment on there. So if it's something
Scholarships declaring minor details.
there you go. Do you have that? If
I
you
can.
don't, you go ahead and put it in where you have a space, and then use that. And I'm going to give you a fair chance at doing this, which is a +2. So you have to get a 2.
I have a 2.
Okay. So you puncture the battery, and it vents a little and has some heat, but it doesn't even feel like it's getting hot around it. The room is still cold, like it's compressing the heat into one spot. And you could probably set something on fire.
Okay.
So you're just going to put that in the sink with the book?
Yep.
Okay. And there's like smoldering, but at the rate it's going, it could probably take the rest of the night to burn up. But you could probably leave it there.
Get some powder from one of the
There's like
fireworks
some
on it.
bits of smoke coming up from it, and it is definitely burning in some way, but it's not like leaping into flame.
All right, so I don't think that it's going to let us burn this here, but we would try to break open one of my M80 fireworks
Dump
and get
powder
the powder
on it.
and see if we could spark that on the book just to try it.
Sure, let's take the same kind of roll here. That would be, I agree with either resources or scholarship or however you want to describe it that fits a skill.
Yeah, I mean, I would know that because I'm a pyromaniac, but
Because you're an arsonist.
Yeah.
Throw it in your average.
I guess I'll just put scholarship
Okay.
there.
So now this one.
Oh my gosh!
This one,
Four pluses, plus-
So this one is going to go up a notch, and it's going to be good, which is a +3.
That's right, 5.
And you end up with a 5.
So 2 shift. That's
So-
worth something.
It is. In this case, well, it's funny because on the degrees of success, it goes 1, 3, 5. It doesn't actually talk about 2. Although for me, there's a progression regardless. It's like the difference between 1 and 3, of course. That would be 2. It definitely catches now, but it's still contained. It's like flames don't even reach the top of the sink, and the cast iron sink itself is still cold to the touch, but it's definitely burning in there. And it'll probably be burned through in a few minutes.
The book.
Yeah.
All right. I want to take the hammer and start smashing the runes on the blade.
That's interesting. Okay.
Smash the cup, too, while you're at it.
Okay.
Why are we still in the kitchen?
That's a good question.
She
You're gonna-
says from over his shoulder.
Yeah. Turned around so she could talk to everyone else. All right, so yeah.
We could ask, why are we still in the house?
Yeah.
Well, because you're supposed to last all night, right?
That's true.
Otherwise, you're going to be embarrassed.
That's true.
Yeah.
Better
Think of it,
embarrassed
Ter-
than
Terry-
dead.
You wanna leave
embarrassed by
now?
my life anyway.
Terry's probably standing outside waiting for you guys to flee in fear so he can talk about you at school.
Yeah.
That
It's
loser.
probably him doing all this.
Classic Terry.
Damn Jesus bastard.
So yes, the
Damn churchy.
that hammer hits the blade. You manage to chip it a bit, scuff the markings. Doesn't seem to have much other effect. How about that? And you hear a keening from the cellar. A definite something is crying out down there.
Like a baby or like a woman?
I don't know. You gonna go check it out?
What do they want, Mike? I don't really believe in this stuff, but I mean,
Something's going
seen
on.
some things.
Yeah.
Something's going on.
Seen some shit, yo.
I'm a pretty reasonable guy. I've just seen some unreasonable things.
There you go. What do you think?
I feel like the key is Toby.
Who the hell is Toby?
You know who Toby is.
I don't know anything anymore.
Yeah. No, Toby was the baby.
Toby was the baby.
But yes.
All right, do we take the teddy bear down to the furnace?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what else to do.
The wedding dress too?
I don't know about the wedding dress, man.
How about we
I don't
just
either.
burn the whole house down?
Nothing's light in here. It's hard.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a good point. The house is definitely condensing.
All right, give me the thing. I'm making a run
cold
for it.
darkness. You gonna head towards there?
Grab the teddy bear and making a run down
Are
the
you
steps.
dragging her?
I'll put her down and I'm
Okay.
grabbing her.
So now I'm in the kitchen by myself.
Well,
No,
if everybody else
grab
ran.
Jamie's hand.
Oh, yeah, he
We're
does.
Yeah.
The fuck by the hair.
Oh, your hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to grab you by the hair. You're going to like it, bitch.
Get in the cellar now. Nice.
No, I grab you by the wrist like the gentleman that I am. Childhood friend of mine.
I'm like, Jesus, this escalated quickly.
Their eyes meet and the vibrator buzzes.
So we're going to say that just about everyone arrives at the same time. Just so I can show you guys what you see. As you get into the basement, the furnace itself looks like it's lit a little, and like wisps of, well, what could only be called baby heads with different emotional states are kind of wafting out.
What was in
of
those
the
Ho-Hos,
furnace.
Mike?
What was in the
Yeah, about that.
Were they special ho-hos?
And as soon as you get down the stairs and see this, the wailing of this child just like assaults you full force, and you want to just run in fear. And let's see if you do.
It's hard to beat my
this
four
is a
pluses.
tough one.
Yeah.
I will tell you, this is the most violent of the spirits here,
Yeah, the
so it's
feelings
appropriate
could be
that I
bad.
roll low. That's nice. Let me tell you what you're looking at to start. You want 5 or better.
All right, if I use this, I can get
On
5.
what? Discipline?
Yeah, discipline. Still a mental attack.
I'd have to use.
So yeah, you're ready, Chris. Let's start with Andy. What did you roll?
It would be a 3 because my dice roll evened out on a
So what aspect would you invoke that would get you there?
I'm gonna have a new one about being like my grandfather being in the military, never giving up,
Okay.
and always
Perseverance.
yeah, perseverance. Yeah.
Okay. I will take that. I'll take the fate point, and then I'll offer
Okay.
the fate point to Mike, and say your trouble of not trusting the living. You don't think at this point that Andy should be doing anything with that bear down here. You're pretty sure he's doing the wrong thing, and you can have this fate point if you'll try and stop him. Or you can give me that fate point to let it go. All right. I took his last fate point. All right. So you've convinced yourself that he might be doing something good. All right. So we got his. What do you got there, Steiny? So the number was
2.
a 5.
2.
All right.
I really should have
So
switched if
you're-
we'd known discipline was like every roll. I should have.
Mine was
switched
already
that
up at 3, so I'm like, I left it.
But we're there.
Right. So I would. So I had, what did I say, 2? And I need just a 3?
Get
You need
5.
3 more. It's
Oh,
a
5.
5.
All right, so I'm going to take a moderate consequence.
Okay.
So he went from shivering to ice hard nipples.
Ripping his shirt.
You have ripped through your shirt. Kurt is hoping that Mickie looks. So explain to me how you are fighting this off, because you're going to negate it, right? You're going to negate it completely. Now I'm going to give you
Yes.
an aspect, a consequence as part of that, but how are you actually...
Do I have to use a fate point
how
to
are you
get a
fighting
consequence?
this? No.
Okay.
No. Because I'm giving you something bad.
I'm covering my ears and yelling for my mommy.
Mommy!
No, I mean, I'm like not
Yeah.
looking and trying to not
Okay.
like hear it. I'm not actually yelling for my mommy because that would look bad.
Well, you're suffering a pretty, bad consequence.
I'm in denial.
Yeah, I guess you're in denial. Let's go for the aspect here could be... Actually, do you have any ideas before I throw something out at you? What negative thing would be haunting you, or haunting might be a bad word, affecting you for the rest of this episode?
Peed my pants.
Embarrassment.
Very embarrassing.
You know that?
He's holding what's her name's hand. Yeah, that's not good for him.
Yeah, yeah. Let's put down personal embarrassment.
Mortified.
Mortified, that's not bad. Let's put mortified. It's shorter. Nice. All right, Mike, what'd you end up with?
A 5.
All right, so you evened out. And Jamie? Mickey's looking kind of dejected over here, so what'd you end up with that roll?
I ended up with a 2.
So we have a difference of 3. How do you want to handle that difference?
So I'm trying to figure out.
You can just take it. It just goes there.
Exactly.
I could
It can just go
take
right
it.
to the third circle because it's a 3. So it goes to the third circle first. And if that circle doesn't have anything in it, you just put an X or a check mark.
Pretty much done, though.
No, because if the next one's a 1, you're all set.
You'll be fine. We're all going to make it out of here.
We're all going to make it out of here?
But here's where some of that weird math, the way it works out, happens. So now, if you were to happen to get a 3, then you couldn't use a fate point to reduce it by 2 because... no, I take that back. If it was a 4, you couldn't use a fate point to reduce it by 2 because that would bring it to 2, which is already full.
Yep.
So it doesn't work. You could only reduce it if it were a 2 or a 3 because that would bring it to 0 or 1. So because the only box you have left is the number 1 box, so only a number 1 matters. So I like the way it's done, but it's also a little confusing at the same time, or at least a little difficult to grasp.
Wonky.
People who are listening are like, what the
The hell are they talking about? And I'll tell those that are listening to that point, check out the Dresden Files role-playing game, or Fate, for that matter, and you can see where some of these rules come actually into play. All right, so you just took it on number 3?
Yep.
All set then. I'm
gonna yell out, "Baby wants his teddy."
Yeah.
Okay. I got a thing here, and okay. So what are you doing with the teddy?
Tossing it in the furnace.
Okay. When you toss the teddy bear into the furnace, all of those baby wisps turn into like smiles, and it just fades away, and the light goes out in the furnace. And
Well, there goes my plan of burning the silver cup.
Mike gets this feeling of utter, oh gosh, I was going to say contentment. That's not the right word.
Relief.
The other one that starts with a C, but yes, relief. Closure.
Closure.
But that was his link.
So we need to
He
put the wedding
wanted
dress
the
on the
teddy.
wall.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to put the wedding dress on the wall.
Yeah.
For the man, I don't know.
Yeah. The one thing that could
the
release
diary in the
Toby
wall.
was the teddy bear.
Or the diary goes in the wall.
It's burning.
Yeah, put the wedding dress on the wall, maybe.
Awesome.
Yeah, the diary is currently just short of setting off the fire extinguisher next door.
Yeah, from 1930s, right?
Yeah, exactly. Fire extinguisher? How about smoke alarm, dumbass? Fires don't set off fire extinguishers, although that would be pretty cool. Okay. So yeah, so now you've got an idea. You guys are thinking about how to cope with the other ghosts.
Let's get the wedding dress to the wall.
We got to get there first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going anywhere.
Could
You going to stay in the cellar?
I'm going anywhere.
Uh-huh.
Baby left.
The baby left, yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the man's?
Toolbox.
Huh?
Toolbox.
Cut her up, right? With a knife? I don't know.
What is his
Well,
thing?
he killed her.
Chopped her up. But with what? I mean, there's a knife, but it's kind of hard to chop somebody up with this little knife.
Huh. Are you gonna? Oh, how do you want to investigate it further? Because the short answer is you guys have resources to investigate further. How do you want to handle it?
Super
Yeah.
freak, let's go. Touch this blade.
Super freak. I'm not in a mental state.
Look, we don't give up here. This is not how it works. My grandfather stormed the beaches of Normandy for this shit.
Soldier on,
Let's go.
damn it.
All right, I'm going to try to get something
Freedom
else
isn't
from
free.
I'm going to try to get myself together enough to try to get something off this knife.
Oh, dude, I totally should have used one of my powers.
There you go.
Say, put the knife on the other side of the doorway.
You want out?
Go get it. So, Mickie, what'd you end up with there for
I
your...
think she's kicking ass over here.
I can't even remember what the word was again.
Investigation.
Psychometry.
Plus
or-
5.
Psychometry.
Psychometry, that's the one.
Psychometry.
All right, so you got a plus
Plus
5. The visions that you get from this blade are more intense now, explained by the big
Back then I'm
roll.
freaking out.
Yes, you're freaking out, and you're seeing Maggie performing weird rituals, like she's trying to get used to these powers she has, and it's clearly trying to come to terms with her magical abilities, is sending her closer and closer to the edge, and she is in a depression after having the child, and she snaps, and you get this. She throws the baby in the furnace and closes the door, and as she turns to look up the stairs, she sees Jerome there, and he sees what she has done, and she has nowhere to run in the cellar, and so the vision closes with this look of utter fear on her face and the rage on Jerome's face. But she was definitely a practitioner of the arts.
Okay, that explains a lot.
So I think the knife and chalice are hers then.
Put that in the hole.
I don't know. How do we placate a spirit that is crazy?
It's a good point. How do you? Does anybody have a way to think about how these?
I do.
I've got
arcane
scholarship.
things
Hold on.
It's not my bag, baby.
It's not my bag, baby. I can swing a pipe wrench
Yeah.
at anything.
I lift things, I put them back down.
I've got
I
scholarship.
could if I elevated my powers to the
Well, this-
next very level.
This is where
I would have
too,
arcane senses.
JJ, the lore skill itself says, arcane research, common ritual, mystic preparation,
Yeah.
perception. I'm sorry.
I'll do lore.
So, yeah, I mean, you could just be trying to figure out what the heck.
So I just saw that we placated the baby
Yeah.
with the teddy bear. So
Okay.
given what I know, I'm going to try to reason out how to placate the other spirits.
Okay. And let's get a 3 or better.
I got a 4.
All right,
That's
good enough.
Because
You
I got
blanked out.
0.
Yeah.
All blanks.
All blanks. I rolled that once. Okay, so you deduce by your lore that it's a connection that the person had, but in this case, we'll talk Maggie. Since from what you've learned, she was dismembered and stuffed in the walls. There's probably something of her in a wall somewhere, and that may be her link to this world. Yeah.
We're in the basement.
Yep.
We're in the cellar.
Yep.
Where's that hole from the master bedroom? lead
Master
to?
bedroom.
The master bedroom wall.
Yeah, but it went down a hole.
It went down to the living room where the monster can went. And where you thought you heard noises, which you might start to believe now, Andy.
How the hell do we even get there, though? Because if we're in the master bedroom is over the porch.
Oh, right now you guys are in the cellar.
No, I
There's a
understand
hole in
that.
the living room, though. There's a hole in the living. There's you were getting pulled someplace in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to bust through the wall, or I can go down the hole from there. It's
Well,
too far
the
of a drop.
master bedroom is above the living room. All right, and that hole in the master bedroom. Just picture this: the hole in the master bedroom is a wall shared by the living room
Yeah.
below.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So that wall.
So we could just go through the living room wall instead of trying to go up to the master bedroom.
I got a
and come
pipe
back
wrench.
down.
You got a hammer.
Well, you already looked down through with
Yeah.
the flashlight and everything, and
Yeah.
saw that it went down to the living room anyway. So
Yeah.
anything that was in the wall would have gone downstairs.
But she was trying to pull me into the wall.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think she's doing that for good intentions.
Nope. If it weren't obvious at this point, none of the ghosts want you here. They want you out. It's their place. It's their house. Get out. If the baby was successful, you'd have been running, screaming away from the baby.
Yeah.
And that's what
But I don't
Jerome's
know
already
what
told
she
you.
would want. And I don't know what Jerome would want.
Right?
But doesn't it? It sounds like we need.
I think Jerome wants his wife back. He wants the happy memories of his wife, of the wedding dress.
Well, we know Toby's at peace now, and he was real
Possible.
pissed off that his baby was killed. but he's really pissed off at his wife because the baby was killed. So you got one half of that part.
Maybe we should just let them fight it out.
Oh, so
If that was going to happen, it would have happened sometime in the last 70 years.
I don't have any idea.
Okay.
Why don't we just throw the chalice and the knife into the wall so that... Because she was obviously
the thing
trying
is,
to practice magic.
My role from what Joe told me is that we need to do something with her body part that's still in the wall.
It's very likely that's her link to this world, yeah.
But I don't know how to get to it, nor do I know what to do with it.
We get to it by busting through the wall in the living room.
I don't see why we can't get to it by busting through the wall here in the cellar.
Walls don't go all the way down there. It's like you're in a dirt cellar. It's a dirt floor, and
We have to
it
go
was
up
just
to the
cut
living
out
room.
of the earth for the cellar. Yeah,
Right.
You have
We
to
just
go
need to
to
go
the
up to the living room and get into the wall at
Yeah.
the living room level.
sounds
If
reasonable.
that's what we want to do.
Let's try it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who's going to drag Jamie along?
I think Steiny's got it covered.
Stein's got it covered, right?
Yeah. Just grab her by the hair. Or the wrist, either one.
She's
Or
compliant.
both.
You know,
You
do
have
what
two
Trump
good
does
hands.
and grab her by something.
Whoa,
Oh.
we're 14. We're 14.
yeah.
That's
you know.
right. They're probably, you know what, though?
Big,
I
big.
tell you, this election season, my 14-year-old listened and read all the memes and everything. She knew more bad stuff about both candidates than I did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So,
They've learned
yeah.
a lot about the world.
Oh, yeah. So we get up to the living room, and on your way... So when you, by the floor plan, you see, when you go upstairs, you go right into the living room area. As you enter that, you can see on the far side where that hole is, or, the hole from upstairs goes down here. Where that spot is the a glimpse of, and I'll show you hers. You can see Maggie there, a glimpse of this apparition. And as you see that apparition, kind of like it shows here, coming out of the wall, you also catch Jerome again coming out of the dining room area, and as soon as she sees him, she hides back into the wall, and he starts walking towards you guys.
I'm going to tell him, we've already saved Toby. Let us save you too.
And every step he takes, you feel like the temperature in the room drops 20 degrees, and it gets darker and darker as he gets closer
And I
to
throw
you.
my hammer
But
at him.
I was going to say, before you do
Okay.
that, this is a power you're using to talk to ghosts.
Yes.
Right? Does that involve a roll?
It does not.
Okay.
From what I understand, it just says, speak to the dead. You can speak and otherwise communicate directly with ghosts and other invisible and incorporeal spirits without the need to perform thaumaturgy.
Okay.
And seek the dead. The dead seek you out, and it goes the other way too. Enough so that you can use contacts to ask for information from and specific individuals among the dead.
Okay. In this case, it sounds like you're trying to give him a command of some type, right? Or
Yeah.
tell him to listen to what you're saying.
So
Does that
let me
say it's
ask,
based
how
off
can
of a
I help
skill?
you?
Is that
Contacts.
based off of a skill?
Contacts. Trying to speak to them is creating a contact.
Okay, so let's roll that. And what I'm going to use is his conviction here as the opposing skill. Hey, look at that. He has a 3, and I rolled 3 negatives, so you're shooting for a 0.
I have a +2, so
As long as you don't have a -2, you're good.
I
Well,
have
he's
a
got 2
+1.
pluses. All right.
So that's a +3.
All right, so he stops in his tracks. And you can see he kind of tilts his head like he's listening for something. His gaze goes towards the cellar. And he just kind of slowly backs away, but he still looks incredibly angry. He's not going to come after you now. But you've kind of given him pause. And it's now more of an observer of what you guys are about to do.
Okay.
So he's going to stand in that dining room doorway and watch what you guys are doing unless something changes.
Same, I'm just
And it warmed up slightly. The flashlight bulbs got slightly brighter.
So I think with him standing there watching us, I don't think Maggie's going to attack us now. So you want to try to fetch her bone from the wall?
Yeah, try to knock some plaster down.
Yeah,
Whatever.
bash down the
Be
wall.
ready. Be ready with the pipe wrench.
That's what I'm using to.
Yeah,
bust
there
down
you
the
go.
wall.
Okay. So the walls crumble easily enough, and you only have to break a couple of those wooden beams that go across the wall. Actually, because there was a picture here that I didn't share earlier, kind of one of the rooms, just to give you guys an idea. This is the way they say the rooms kind of look in the house, so they're all old and everything's falling apart. For anyone who looks this up, that's on page 7. It's the Cranston House interior. But as you bash through, you see right where the monster can is, looks like the phalange, the finger bones from something. Almost, clearly human. You guys have just been in biology, right? So you probably identify a human bone because of that plastic skeleton in the classroom.
Got some fingers here, man.
Anything else?
Put them in the cup.
Well, those, some plaster dust and a monster can.
Put them in the cup.
All right.
Okay. Let's see.
Try
I
to-
got her. Got her thing here.
Try to
So putting them in the cup does nothing. And you can actually, both Mike and Jamie, you can feel the presence of Maggie trying to pull you towards the wall. It's not an attack in this case. You just feel that there's something trying to get you away from Jerome, almost like she's trying to protect you.
I put the knife in with the fingers. I don't know in the cup.
She wants her diary,
Doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
which is burning in the sink.
Well, so we're done on that.
Yeah.
The wedding dress is the only other thing.
So with what Mike had learned, if the bones are a connection to this world, what do you do to break the connection?
Smash them. Here's a hammer. Go for it.
All right.
Burn them.
Or, yeah.
Furnace.
If the fire's still going in the kitchen, I'll toss it.
Throw
like
the
that.
burns.
There's this, the thin layer of smoke along
Yeah.
each ceiling.
Yeah.
And
We could dump more powder
so
on
it's
it from
still there.
one of the other fireworks, too.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah. Burn them.
All right, so you're going to go
Yeah,
toss them.
put them in the cup. And then cherry bomb in there.
Okay. As the bones light up, you can see that. Actually, you guys can feel, and then each of you can see that spirit of Maggie comes out of the wall and just kind of dissipates as it floats upwards. And at that point, Jerome, who was just gazing at what you guys were doing, has a kind of a look of peace on his face, and as you notice that, you realize his form has just faded away as well. And the flashlights get a little brighter, and the home gets a little warmer, and the darkness fades back into the furthest corners of every room. And guess what you guys just did?
Got rid of all the
You
ghosts.
survived the night in the haunted house.
Sun coming up outside.
Yeah, the sun is just about to come out. As you look
We're
at
playing
that,
Rochambeau in the morning as I point toward.
Yeah.
as you look
I
at
got the flashlight to see if
the window that you
stain's still
came
on my
in,
crotch.
you can see the sunrise just peeking up over the houses across the street, and that one ray of sunshine shines through the door frame or the window frame and lights up the living room where you're standing.
Gotta burn this bitch.
Yo, it's breakfast, Steiny.
Gotta light this house on fire as we leave, though.
So we're just going to fast forward to that sunrise, and I'd like to hear what each of the characters tell each other as you walk out of the house and split up to walk home.
That's exactly what I'm saying. We're playing Rochambeau.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely saying Yo's is breakfast. We should go get breakfast.
Rock, paper, scissors.
I mean, we're going to have the best story to tell ever. Like,
Nobody's gonna believe
No
it.
one's gonna
anyone would
believe us.
He started and ended as Jeff Spicoli.
As if anyone would believe us, but still, we'll know.
That's my skull.
Sometime like
Oh, I
4
want to
years
look
from
at the tree. I want to look for the tree to see if his grandfather's there.
What you see is actually for a fleeting moment, kind of like a shimmering mirage vision of a happy family of 3 with the mother holding a baby and Jerome standing next to him with his arm around his wife and like tickling the baby, and it kind of fades away.
We did it, guys.
What'd you do?
Set them free.
We put them back together. We fixed what was broken.
And there are just wisps of smoke coming out of the attic.
I was surprised.
As it all rose up. Yeah.
As it all burns.
Yeah.
Man, I used everything on my list that I brought with me except for my condoms. Yeah. Any chance? Anyone?
And on that, we will end the adventure. Let's spend a few minutes talking about how we think it went. Who wants to go first?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I felt a little lost there during the third act.
Yeah.
I think that might just be me getting into knowing what to roll and ask, or knowing what to ask, when to roll, and that sort of thing. But that adventure was really well done. I think the only one who has a fate point left is Kurt and Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm the only one who has no fate point left.
Well, in reality, though, if I had just done a couple of more attacks, and to be podcast sensitive, I realized we were going on with the hour. So instead of doing a couple of more attacks to try and get somebody to flee, I wanted to see if we could resolve it rather than.
Well, and we were close. I mean, I was low on.
Well, realistically, anybody with the high attacks, I mean, the baby. When you're in the basement and the baby comes at you, all pissed off at the world, he's got a intimidation of great, which is +4 already, and then he has incite emotion, which gives him 2 more. So he starts at a +6, and then I can get more out of that. And fortunately, I rolled a -1 total.
Yeah. But if you rolled a +2, we would have all been in trouble.
Yeah. So if you guys hadn't had the teddy bear thing in mind, you were going to get attacked again.
Yeah.
There's no reason for the baby not to.
Was the wedding dress part of the adventure?
The wedding dress was the one thing that Jamie did not try a vision of.
Right.
It was the only happy vision for the wife.
Aww.
It was the happy time in her life when she got married.
So if we had burned the wedding dress, would she have gone away?
In the adventure, to get rid of Toby, the baby, requires the teddy bear. To get rid of Maggie requires destroying the bones. And then Jerome leaves when the other two are at peace.
Yeah.
So we were fairly close.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did all right.
All right.
So, I mean, I felt like if we were going to get to the point where no one wanted to destroy the bones, that I would have just let something happen with the cup and the knife. But those were just ritual objects for her.
Yeah.
Right.
To show that she was really the one that messed this whole thing up.
Yeah.
And the reason the ghosts hung around is because she couldn't control the powers she had, which made the house a convergence of magic, and things from here and there could just freely interact.
Cool.
Crazy.
So what else?
I like the beginning, the whole
Setting up the story.
setting up the story before the character creation, like
Yep.
getting to know each other. That was neat because you can intermix backstories easily, and actually adds to role playing.
Yeah, especially for a longer adventure, that would be really cool. I mean, it's good even for this, but I like that too. And I like sometimes we had an idea and then another idea, and we could choose which way we wanted the party, what we.
Yeah,
wanted
that's the collaborative backstory aspect of this game.
Another thing I liked, I think I really like that part, and I like the choice, like how you get to choose how you take your pain.
Yeah.
Because, as I said on one of the breaks, the rolling mechanic, we played all these different games with all these different dice, but basically it's a high, middle, low, plus or minus a modifier. And these games all try to make that sound different, but it's really the same roll. Yeah. But this idea of picking, well, do I take it against my mental strength, or do I take a consequence, or, or do I spend a fate point? Right. And in what order do I do those? Mm-hmm. It would, the way I played it might have been different had I not known, for example, I have 20 minutes left in this act. Yep. Like if we had just been playing this as a home game, some of those decisions might have been even harder. So I actually kind of like that complication.
Yeah. Kurt, the other Kurt, Chris.
I like the fact that you could create more aspects on the fly, where it's kind of like you're cheating your way out of anything you get
exactly.
to think. That's
and
very cool.
And
then it adds to the character, like even more of a backstory to the character,
Yep.
Right. So I've been reading the Fate core book, which is the system that this is skinned off of, and that's the big thing, is they want you be creating story and creating collaborative story, and the game.
But it adds another line of history to the character that maybe nobody knows about yet. You kind of throw it in right then.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Right. And it's cool that you, at first I thought it sounded like cheating, that you can add a skill right when you need it, but I do like the idea that your character is not set
Right.
set at the first second that you start the game,
Yeah.
and then you get one thing at each level up.
Yeah,
But like
yeah, totally.
you're creating your character as you
And
go through the
the
story.
character creation process allows for that. Like, you can, if you don't know what else you're good at yet, you can leave it blank until you need to be good at something.
Yeah.
I like that.
What do you think, Mickie?
I think this game could be a lot of fun because of all these
Right.
aspects. It's really collaborative, and like James said, you create your character on the fly, and it really is kind of more true to life than the other stuff that we played. Because think about
Yeah,
it, like
totally.
you don't really realize how far your limits are until you're pushed to them.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And the other thing about it is I wouldn't necessarily take a skill when I needed it. Like there was one point, I can't remember, but where I could have used a skill, but I was like, it didn't fit with how I was thinking of playing Stein.
Yep.
So I was like, I could take that and win this role, but then I'm stuck with that as one of my skills or one of my aspects, and it wouldn't ring true, so I didn't do it.
And one thing to note about that is for this adventure, for this case file, that's how the characters are done so that you can make the character your own as you play.
Yeah.
But in the regular adventure, in the regular rule set, you do fully flesh out your character before you start. However, especially with the GM that allows it, which of course I would, you can tweak your character for the first few sessions so it becomes the character you want.
Yeah.
But like in these where you have one fair slot open and 4 average slots open as you start, in an actual Dresden Files RPG game, you wouldn't have any open. You would have picked all of those at character creation. So it's a more complete process. But I really like the way they did it as a one-shot so that you can then, you build the character you want as you're playing the adventure and you build them to fit the adventure.
Well,
Very nice.
that is part of the on-the-fly character creation.
Yes.
Alternative rules.
So I'll go for a minute here. I really liked this one-shot, and I'd be tempted to use the other one-shots even if we create characters because of the way they wrote them. To Mickey's point about liking the way you do the collaborative story building at the beginning, there's a little paragraph here I'll read quickly. It says, "This is intentionally a lightweight write-up. It depends greatly upon you, the GM, running it with what the players give you. You ask them a number of questions at the start of the case file, and that helps the players complete their characters and tailors the case file to their concept of their characters. Thus, no 2 sessions of this game will ever be quite the same." So they wrote it as vague enough so that it's almost, by answering those questions at the beginning, you're choosing a specific group of people to do this task. And the other way we could have played it was as a mystery, whereas you're trying to figure out what happened and fix it. In this case, you're trying to last through the night, and it's survival that causes you to stop them or to run away.
It reminds me of those Choose Your Own Adventure books
Yeah.
that we read when we were kids.
It's very
like
good.
every time you
Yeah.
read it was a little different.
And the way they write it, and again, that's what I really liked about this one. The other 2 are set in specific places with more specific stuff, whereas this one just involves you're in a haunted house, you're kind of isolated from everything else. Let these characters interact with ghosts, and I like that aspect. So I chose this one. Any other thoughts as we get to wrapping up?
Well, I was going to ask,
Go ahead.
do you think that this is something you could DM long term?
I definitely could, especially if we can make it so we get to start understanding the mechanics. I still feel like when in this specific case file, this adventure, almost every mechanic was based on a mental attack because that's what it was. It was ghosts attacking you, trying to get you to flee their house. As we get more varied in that, I think it'll help try and understand what some of the different things are. But for now, I feel like we still just skimmed the surface, and there's a lot more meat to it that we would have to become accustomed to.
All right, so I actually want to ask our listeners a question.
Yep.
There are differing levels of deepness to this Dresden Files. We played at feet in the water difficulty, or whatever you may call that. Immersion. You can go from feet in the water to knee high to waist high to chest deep to fully submerged.
Yeah.
And the higher you go, the more magical your character starts.
Right. So instead of being able to touch something and get a vision, you're actually sending visions into somebody's head, or using scrying to see what someone's doing across the world, or casting a fireball. It's
Fireball
so
in
many
the shack.
different, so many different levels there. We played this game at the point of you're just starting to experiment with supernatural powers.
Exactly. So if any of our listeners want us to play a certain type, bear in mind that we are novices to it, so going fully submerged might be going a bit too far, but
maybe waist deep might be.
But off the deep end.
Like waist deep's good, balls deep, not so much.
Thank you, Kurt.
We teabagged Steiny when he was sleeping, by the way. Everybody got pictures.
And it was cool because his teeth were chattering.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That makes it dangerous.
That's the dare.
So to JJ's point, a question out there to listeners, if you liked what we did and want to hear more of it, definitely let us know. If you have ideas for any adventure for us, let us know that too, because we have played several things by suggestion of our listeners. Some of the trial games we've played and different things we've tried have been because people have asked us, which is great. So we'd love to hear that. If you have ideas for a Dresden verse scenario or something we could run through, let us know. In the meantime, I think we're probably ready to wrap it up.
yeah, sayonara.
Everybody?
Hasta luego. Ciao.
All right, then we can all say
Arrivederci.
bye.
See you.
Bye.
Cheddar.
Penis.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.